Hello ladies, and welcome to the channel. In a world that rewards compliance, those who stand alone are often labeled as rebels. Sigma females don't conform to societal expectations, and that refusal to play by the rules makes them appear intimidating, even dangerous. The calm confidence they carry, their unapologetic truth-telling, and their refusal to be swayed by shallow approval can make people uncomfortable, sometimes even hostile. But here's the fact. Most misunderstandings come from fear. Fear of what they can't control, can't predict, and can't mold. And that's why Sigma females often wear the bad girl label. In this video, we'll uncover why society reacts this way, how their silent defiance and unshakable independence turn them into enigmatic forces, leaving others unsettled. But is the bad girl label truly deserved, or is it simply a reflection of how much they refuse to be confined by the ordinary? Stay with us, because this is a story of power, perception, and the undeniable strength of the Sigma female. Number 1, they refuse to play the nice lady game for acceptance. Sigma females don't follow the script society hands out. While many women feel pressured to act overly nice, agreeable, and pleasant just to fit in, Sigma females reject that entirely. They don't believe in pretending to be someone they're not for the sake of making others comfortable. This refusal to play the nice lady game is what sets them apart and makes people uneasy. For most, being nice is a survival tactic, a way to gain acceptance, approval, or avoid conflict. But a Sigma female doesn't need external validation, and this self-assurance can be threatening to others. When she walks into a room, she's not concerned about whether everyone likes her. She doesn't engage in fake smiles, forced compliments, or passive-aggressive politeness. Instead, she carries herself with a quiet confidence that says, "I'm here on my own terms." This blunt authenticity can be misinterpreted as coldness or arrogance, especially by people who are used to women being more submissive or overly accommodating. But for the Sigma female, it's not about being rude, it's about being real. She's not going to sacrifice her values or personality to fit in with a crowd. She refuses to play the social game of making herself small or agreeable just to avoid conflict or make others feel good about themselves. People often label her as difficult or even bad because they can't control her through flattery or expectation. She doesn't behave the way society expects women to, and that defiance gets under people's skin. Instead of blending in to make others feel safe, she stands out by being unapologetically herself. And that's why some people will always see her as the bad girl. Number 2, their composed nature is seen as mysteriously dangerous. There's something about a Sigma female's calm demeanor that keeps people on edge. She's not the type to react impulsively, get flustered, or wear her emotions on her sleeve. Instead, she remains composed, cool, and collected, which can be incredibly unsettling for those who thrive on reading others or controlling the situation. Let's face it, people get nervous when they can't predict what's coming next. And with a Sigma female, there's always that quiet tension in the air, like a storm that could break at any moment, but never does. Her calmness can feel almost too calm, and that's what throws people off. When most are busy over-explaining, overreacting, or trying to make themselves heard, the Sigma female is sitting back, silently observing, taking it all in. It's not that she's indifferent, she's just not interested in jumping into every conversation or showing her hand too soon. This makes her hard to read, and frankly, it drives people nuts. They want to know what she's thinking, what she'll do next, and they hate that they can't get a read on her. There's also the fact that people are naturally suspicious of what they can't figure out. The Sigma female's calm exterior makes people wonder if she's plotting something or secretly judging them. And let's be honest, she probably is quietly assessing the situation, but that's not the same as being hostile. Still, the fact that she doesn't show all her cards makes people nervous. They'd almost prefer her to lose her cool because at least then they'd know what to expect. But that's not going to happen, and it's why she often gets labeled as dangerous or bad, because people just don't know what to do with her mysterious, unshakable calm. Number 3. They highlight flaws in society's favorite ideas. Sigma females have a knack for seeing through the nonsense that most people accept without question. While everyone else is busy nodding along and going with the flow, she's the one sitting there dissecting the idea from every angle. She doesn't buy into things just because they're popular or socially accepted. If something doesn't make sense, she'll call it out, no hesitation. And when she does, it's like dropping a bomb in a room full of people who are just starting to feel comfortable. What's fascinating is that she doesn't challenge ideas just to be difficult or play devil's advocate. She's genuinely committed to seeking the truth. If an idea has holes in it, she'll point them out, even if it means going against what everyone else believes. This ability to see the flaws in popular ideas can make her seem like she's always stirring the pot, but really, she's just allergic to nonsense. Let's be real. People don't like having their comfortable beliefs challenged. They get defensive. And when the Sigma female steps up with her sharp logic and dismantles what they've been clinging to, it can feel personal. It's like watching someone take apart a house of cards you spent hours building. Sure, it was flimsy, but it was your house of cards, and now it's gone. Her unwillingness to just go along with the crowd can make people feel exposed or foolish, especially when they've built their identity around these popular ideas. Instead of appreciating her insight, they label her as a troublemaker, a bad girl who refuses to let people live in their bubble. But that's just how the Sigma female operates. If something doesn't add up, she's going to speak up, and that tends to make a lot of people uncomfortable. Number 4. They are immune to flattery and social approval games. Flattery and approval are like candy for most people, sweet, addictive, and hard to resist. But not for Sigma females. Compliments, attention, and praise don't move them an inch. You could shower a Sigma female with all the flattery in the world and she'd barely blink. It's not that she doesn't appreciate a kind word, but she's immune to the manipulative side of it. Most people love being buttered up, but for her, it's like someone trying to bribe a bouncer with Monopoly money. It's just not going to work. Sigma females see right through the game. They know when someone is being genuine and when they're just trying to get something. Flattery as a tool to manipulate or control someone, that's a dead-end strategy with a Sigma female. She's too focused on her own path to care about superficial praise or approval. Her sense of self-worth doesn't come from other people's opinions, so there's no way to sway her with compliments or fake admiration. People often use approval as a subtle way to manipulate. If I make you feel good about yourself, you'll do what I want. But with a Sigma female, this tactic falls flat every time. She's not playing that game. Instead of bending to win favor, she stays true to her own values, and if that means not pleasing everyone, so be it. This can be frustrating for those who are used to pulling strings to get their way. It's kind of hilarious, really, how confused people get when their usual tricks don't work on her. They'll be left scratching their heads, wondering why she's not jumping through hoops like everyone else. The truth is, she's playing by her own rules, and flattery or approval just aren't part of the equation. Number 5, their high standards make others feel insecure. Sigma females don't do low standards. They set the bar high, for themselves and for the people around them. This doesn't always sit well with others, especially those who are comfortable coasting through life or settling for mediocrity. When a Sigma female walks into a room with her high expectations and clear boundaries, it can make people feel uncomfortable, even insecure. Suddenly, the easy way out isn't good enough anymore, and that's when the tension starts. It's not that she's trying to make anyone feel bad, she's just not willing to compromise her standards for the sake of making others feel better about themselves. This can come across as intimidating, especially to people who aren't used to being held accountable. Her refusal to accept less than what she deserves can leave others feeling like they're being silently judged, even if that's not her intention. It's just that her very presence reminds people of what they could be doing, and not everyone wants that reminder. People often project their insecurities onto her, assuming that she's looking down on them or being overly demanding. In reality, she's just living her life at a higher level and expects others to bring their best too. And when they don't, it creates an awkward dynamic. Some might even call her too picky or impossible to please, because they don't want to admit that the real issue is their own unwillingness to step up. The funny part is, people often admire her high standards from a distance but resent them up close. It's like wanting to be friends with someone who motivates you, but feeling annoyed when they actually challenge you. At the end of the day, her standards aren't about making others feel inferior. They're about staying true to herself, And that's a challenge not everyone can handle. Number 6, they aren't afraid to be the lone rebel. One of the most defining traits of a Sigma female is her ability to stand alone, even if she's the only one with an opposing opinion. While most people feel the need to blend in or avoid conflict, the Sigma female has no problem being the lone voice in the room. She doesn't feel pressure to agree just to keep the peace or win popularity points. If something doesn't sit right with her, she's going to speak up, even if it means standing by herself in a room full of people who think she's crazy. What's really fascinating is how comfortable she is with that isolation. For most people, being the odd one out is terrifying. They'll nod along, even if they don't agree, just to avoid the awkwardness of being the only one with a different opinion. But the Sigma female? She's not wired that way. She thrives on independence and doesn't need a crowd to back her up to feel secure. In fact, the more everyone goes one way, the more she's inclined to question it. This is where things get interesting. People often assume that if someone is standing alone, they must be wrong or just trying to be difficult. But for the Sigma female, her stance is based on principle, not popularity. She's not out to win friends or influence people by going along with the crowd. She's more concerned with staying true to herself, even if that makes her the odd one out. The funniest part? Even though people may think she's difficult or stubborn for not following the group, deep down, they admire her. They may not admit it, but there's something undeniably powerful about someone who doesn't need the approval of others to stand firm in what they believe. It's bold, it's brave, and it's a little bit intimidating. Number 7, they expose fake personas with brutal honesty. When it comes to pretenders, a Sigma female has zero tolerance. She can spot someone faking it from a mile away, and she's not the type to quietly let it slide. While most people might bite their tongue to avoid rocking the boat, the Sigma female will call out a fake without hesitation, and she won't sugarcoat it either. If someone's trying to bluff their way through a situation, she'll cut through the nonsense with brutal honesty, leaving no room for pretense. This directness can make her seem harsh, but she's not interested in playing along with the act. To her, authenticity is everything, and when she sees someone pretending to be something they're not, it grates on her. Whether it's a coworker who's all talk and no action, or someone putting on a fake persona to gain attention, the Sigma female has no patience for it. She's not going to waste time coddling or tiptoeing around the truth. Instead, she'll lay it out plainly, which can be jarring for those who are used to more tactful or passive responses. The funny thing is, most people think they can get away with pretending until they run into a Sigma female. She'll see through their facade and won't hesitate to call it like she sees it. And when she does, it's like watching someone pop a balloon. The whole illusion bursts, and there's no recovering from it. Sure, people might label her as mean or too blunt, but deep down, they know she's just calling out what everyone else is too afraid to admit. This honesty isn't about being rude, it's about keeping it real. The Sigma female values truth over comfort, and while that can ruffle feathers, it also means she's someone you can trust. She won't fake anything for anyone, and that's a rare quality in a world full of pretenders. Number 8, their reserved nature is mistaken for arrogance. When a Sigma female is silent, people often misinterpret that as arrogance. It's like when a cat gives you the cold shoulder. Are they just being aloof, or are they secretly plotting world domination? In the case of the Sigma female, her quiet demeanor can send people into a spiral of self-doubt. They start wondering if she's judging them or if they've somehow offended her. But in reality, her silence is often a reflection of her thoughtful nature, not a snub. While others are busy chattering away, seeking validation through constant conversation, she's taking it all in. She observes, analyzes, and chooses her words wisely. This makes her seem mysterious, which can be intimidating. When people see her calm exterior, they assume she's harboring some grand opinion, and that's where the misunderstanding begins. They mistake her tranquility for superiority, thinking, she must think she's better than us. But honestly, she might just be pondering the universe or planning her next move. This misinterpretation can lead to some hilarious situations. You'll find people overcompensating, trying too hard to impress her or crack jokes to fill the silence, when all she's doing is enjoying the moment without feeling the need to fill it with noise. Her calm presence can create awkward tension, as if she's a bouncer at a club, silently deciding who gets in and who doesn't. But the truth is, her silence isn't about being exclusive. It's about having a strong sense of self and not needing to shout to be heard. Instead of realizing that her silence is simply her way of engaging with the world, people label her as stuck up or arrogant. In a world that values loudness over substance, being quietly confident is often seen as a threat. But for the Sigma female, it's just another layer of her complex and extraordinary personality. Number 9. They put their principles before popularity. For a Sigma female, principles are not just guidelines. They are the very foundation of her being. While most people tend to adapt their values based on social situations or peer pressure, she stands firm, unwavering in her beliefs. This commitment to principles often sets her apart in a world where it's all too easy to bend the rules for the sake of popularity. You can almost see the gears turning in her head as she weighs every decision against her own moral compass, making her both admirable and intimidating at the same time. When faced with a choice between popularity and integrity, she'll choose integrity every time, even if it means ruffling some feathers. Imagine a party where everyone is laughing at a questionable joke. While everyone else is chuckling along, she's the one who speaks up, pointing out the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to acknowledge. This can lead to some hilariously awkward moments as others scramble to defend their humor or brush off her honesty, but she won't back down. She's not there to win a popularity contest. She's there to uphold her values. This commitment to principles also means she doesn't play the social games that so many people thrive on. She won't flatter a boss for a promotion she doesn't believe they deserve, nor will she feign friendship with someone just to fit in. Instead, she opts for authenticity, which can make her seem difficult or hard to read. People often don't know what to do with someone who won't conform to the unwritten rules of social interaction. The irony is that while some see her as a lone wolf, others secretly admire her courage to stay true to herself, even if they won't admit it. In a world obsessed with gaining approval, her fierce independence is both refreshing and a little scary. She may not be the life of the party, but she's certainly the one who will leave a lasting impression, reminding everyone that integrity should never be compromised for the sake of fitting in. Number 10. They challenge unjust authority without fear or favor. When it comes to authority, a Sigma female doesn't just follow the herd. She questions it, challenges it, and sometimes outright ignores it. While most people tiptoe around authority figures, hoping to stay in their good graces, she's the one who walks in and turns the whole table upside down. She doesn't buy into titles, badges, or fancy office decor. If someone's in a position of power, she expects them to earn her respect, not assume they have it just because they wear a suit. This fearless attitude can be a breath of fresh air, but it can also make her a target. The last thing a self-proclaimed leader wants is someone who dares to call them out on their nonsense. When she spots someone wielding their authority like a toddler with a shiny new toy, she's quick to point out their flaws. "Oh, you think you can boss me around because you've got a corner office? Let's talk about your last 3 projects and how they went up in flames." It's like she's armed with facts and logic, ready to take down the castle walls of false authority one sarcastic remark at a time. People often label her as rebellious or a troublemaker, but the truth is, she just values authenticity over compliance. She's not interested in playing nice with someone who doesn't deserve the position they're in. This can lead to some hilariously awkward moments, especially when authority figures are left scrambling to defend their position against her sharp wit. Instead of getting flustered, she thrives on the challenge, as if she's just stepped into a game where everyone else is following outdated rules. At the end of the day, the Sigma female doesn't do fake authority. She's here for the truth, and if that means ruffling a few feathers in the process, then so be it. Her willingness to question the status quo makes her a force to be reckoned with and ensures that she's never just another cog in the machine. In a world often dictated by conformity and superficiality, Sigma females stand out as unapologetic champions of authenticity and integrity. Their refusal to play the typical social games is both captivating and intimidating, as they effortlessly challenge norms that others are afraid to question. From their unwavering principles to their keen ability to spot pretenders, they redefine what it means to be strong and independent in a society that frequently rewards compliance over courage. While some may view them as bad guys or rebels, the truth is that their strength lies in their commitment to honesty and self-respect. They're not here to win popularity contests or coddle fragile egos. Instead, they pave their own paths, inviting others to reflect on their choices and motivations along the way. This fearless authenticity can be polarizing, but it's precisely what makes them so intriguing. As we navigate our own lives, perhaps we can learn from Sigma females. Instead of adhering to the pressures of social acceptance, we can strive to embrace our true selves, challenge the status quo, and speak up when something feels off. After all, the world needs more voices that are willing to stand alone and advocate for authenticity, just as the Sigma female does. So, the next time you encounter a Sigma female, don't rush to judge or label her. Instead, take a moment to appreciate the strength, courage, and uniqueness she brings to the table. If you found these insights into Sigma females as intriguing as we did, don't miss out on more exceptional content. Hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey of exploration and empowerment. Let's continue uncovering the extraordinary together. Thanks for watching and bye.